Nick, when you gathered the team yesterday for your team meeting, what was your overall specific message to the team as you started Super Bowl week?
Just being locked into the scenario, to the situation that we're in, and going through the same routine that we go through, whether if we're at NovaCare. So that was the big part of it. Was just talking about the distractions that are here, that can be here, how it's a little bit different, and how we just need to go about our business like we have been for the past 20 weeks.
Giving emphasis on connection, Nick, how much of the messaging is about this being the last chance that this team will get to play together?
You know, you don't look at it that way. You work hard to connect every day, regardless of the scenario. And we look at this as an opportunity to play for each other again, to get better this week and to play for each other. And we're just in the habit of connecting the whole time too. I mean, these guys are out here doing different things to connect with each other, going out to eat, playing ping pong in there, shooting hoops in there. So they're doing that because that's just what we've done for the past 20 weeks.
Nick, we talked so much. First-year head coach, slow start. How or where did you find the resolve to kind of stick with who you were, what you were about, and kind of turn that thing around last year? And obviously,
we started really slow our first year in Indianapolis too. I think we started 1-5 that year, and I just remember Frank talking about doubling down on the things that are important. And and he may have said it a little bit differently, but that's kind of how I said it. When we started off 2-5, we talked about doubling down on connecting, doubling down on competing, accountability, football IQ, fundamentals, and just continue to grow. Even though the outside world might not see that we're growing, we knew we were. And it's not like when you say doubling down too, it's like we weren't saying anything crazy. It was like, hey, the best teams connect with each other, right? The best teams compete their butts off. And so it was just getting the things that we already knew were true. We're just doubling down, knowing we had a good process, that we liked our process. We knew that we had a good process, but we could tweak some things with schedules. We could tweak some things with, the systems that we were running. And so, that was the main message is doubling down on the things that we knew were important and just keep going to work. And I think another big thing was just, not looking at, hey, we're 2-5 right now and we got to climb that mountain right now. Like, you didn't have to, right? Because if you look at it like that, it can be overwhelming. If you look at it like we're in this hole and we got to climb up and do it, you didn't have to do that. You just had to go one day at a time and one game at a time. And that was the thought process. That was what we did. And, it's carried us into this week too, where we're just, hey, what's different? Nothing. One day at a time. One walkthrough at a time. One meeting at a time. Everything, etc.
We talked so much about Jalen and all he's achieved this year, but you ever just kind of get taken aback? He's 24, and to have this kind of calmness and leadership and comfortable in this moment and be 24, how special, how rare is that for you?
Yeah, I think that's just who he is, regardless of his age. That's just who he is as a competitor, as a player. I guess it's rare in the fact, I see it every day. I witness it every day of him, just not being caught up in any moment. And, and that speaks to who he is, how he was raised, and that, he's steady. And so it's impressive to see, but that's what I'm accustomed to now with Jalen, and he's the same guy every day.
Nick, how competitive have AJ and DEVONTA been with each other this year, and where does that show up most?
I think they've been just helping each other this year get better. I don't want to say that they're happy for each other when they make plays. There's that little bubble that we threw in the Giants game that AJ leads the and really being happy for each other's success. I know it started off a little different against Detroit, where AJ had the huge game and DEVONTA didn't have any catches in that game. But they just kept going back to work. We knew we'd need both of them to be in this moment right now. And they're truly sharpening each other. They're iron is sharpening iron there. They're sharpening each other, helping each other get better. And because they are the players that they are, it's hard for defenses to try to key and take away one guy.
Nick, what was your first?
Cleared to return, and where does the punter situation
Yeah, we're still working through that. We don't have to make a decision now, and you knew that when you asked that question, I was going to answer you like I did the last 18 weeks in Philadelphia. So we're still working through that. We'll see how practice goes tomorrow. He looked good last week, and so we'll just keep monitoring it.
Your relationship with KELCE, what's that?
There is a talk about distractions, and then they're seeing it in real life. And I think last night was the perfect example, right, of having the chaos of media night. How do you as a coach quell the anxiety or the overwhelming feelings if they pop up moving forward?
Well, again, it's always about trying to stick to your routine. Go to basketball, right? When we're always taught as, sometimes I'll talk about basketball sometimes because I felt like I was a decent basketball player. But you try to correlate that what we're taught as young players in basketball that, okay, you're in an empty gym by yourself, and if you dribble 3 times and you take a breath, boom, you shoot it, right? Well, that's the same thing you do when the crowd's yelling and the people are in the background doing the thing and they're waving the sticks or whatever they're doing, and they're yelling in the gym. You take three dribbles, you breathe, and then you go. So what you're trying to do as much as you possibly can is stay in the routines that you've done all year. To understand, so when you're in that moment, the moment's not too big. You're just going through the process. Like all we're trying to do here is to eliminate the distractions. And one way to do that, again, there's going to be free time, and we have free time throughout in the week too. When we're in Philadelphia, you're just trying to eliminate distractions, and you try to do that by just going through your process. Listen, my family's coming in today, but I don't usually see them on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I see them Thursdays, and I'll do my best to be a really good dad on Thursday, but Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm gonna do what I normally do, and we're gonna be in the office late, continuing to work through the plan, continuing to iron out the details of the plan. And so, our coaches are leading by example, and I know our captains on our team and our leaders on our team are doing the same.
Your relationship with KELCE and Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, guys who have been here through the roller coaster over the last 5 years. How have they made you better? How have you made them better?
Last year when I was a first-year head coach, I've said this before plenty of times, is that I was unlike a lot of other first-year head coaches in the sense that I had 4 guys, the guys you just named, that were 10-year veterans in the NFL, and that have been to the top of the mountain. And so to have those guys on your team, right, leading the way to quarterback and the lines are, the offense and defensive lines are where you win football games. To have those guys on the offense and defensive line was really important for us as a football team to get through that 2-5 start, to get through the downs of the season, and then also to get through the ups of the season, because we got good leaders, we got good men on this football team, and those guys are phenomenal leaders. They lead the way not only in the standard of how to practice, how to meet, how to be a pro, how to take care of your body. Like this is unbelievable for a guy, to have Jason KELCE, for Cam Jurgens. That's such a important thing for Cam and his development, and it's the same thing for Jordan Davis with the Fletcher Cox. But got good leaders, got good captains on this team leading the way.